We are a civilization obsessed with our own dawn. We sift through the dust of Göbekli Tepe, 12,000 years old. We hunt for the ghost of Atlantis, drowned in the last great flood. We argue over a handful of millennia, convinced that the answers to who we are buried just beneath our feet. But what if our entire timeline is a rounding error? What if the 12,000 years we are so obsessed with are nothing? A meaningless blink of an eye in a story so vast it defies comprehension. What if the real inconvenient truth is that we have been looking in the wrong place and for the wrong thing? What if an industrial civilization, a civilization of cities, of industry, of global impact, just like ours, rose, flourished, and completely annihilated itself 100 million years ago? This is not a fringe fantasy. This is not a conspiracy. This is a terrifying thought experiment posed by the most brilliant minds at NASA. They call it the Silurian Hypothesis, and it is the definitive 0 point in our understanding of history. The question was first posed by astrophysicist Adam Frank and Gavan Schmidt, the director of the NASA Goddard Institute for Space Studies. Their question was simple: how do we know for certain that we are the first industrial civilization to exist on Earth? The immediate problem is deep time. 100 million years. Let us comprehend that number. You could fit our entire recorded history, from the first Sumerian clay tablet to the iPhone, into that time frame 16,000 times. It is a span of time so vast, mountains are born and eroded to nothing. Entire oceans open up and disappear. After 100 million years, nothing of our world would survive. Not one building, not one statue, not one steel frame. Our cities, our monuments, all of it would be ground back into dust, scoured by wind and water, crushed by glaciers, and finally subducted, pulled down into the Earth's mantle by the slow grinding conveyor belt of plate tectonics to be melted back into magma. Even our bones would be fossilized, crushed, and scattered beyond recognition. A civilization that old would leave no artifacts. So Frank and Schmidt realized, if you want to find them, you must stop looking for a needle in a haystack. You must look for the haystack itself. You must look for a fingerprint, a chemical scar burned into the geological record of the planet itself, a global signature left behind by a species that became so powerful it altered the very chemistry of the Earth. To find a hypothetical 100 million year old civilization, we must first understand the fingerprint we are leaving behind. We call it the Anthropocene, the age of man. If the human race were to vanish tomorrow, what would our scar look like 100 million years from now? Deep, authoritative, documentary, and mysterious. The scientists identified 3 planet-scale signatures that could not be mistaken for nature. First, the carbon scar. We are, in effect, digging up the ancient dead, the carboniferous forests, and burning them. We are releasing hundreds of billions of tons of ancient carbon into the atmosphere at a rate that nature simply cannot match. A natural volcanic release is a slow leak. Ours is a pressurized gusher. This spike in carbon dioxide, this sudden violent atmospheric change, will be the single clearest signature of our existence. A dark, acidic line in the rock. Second, the chemical scar. Our legacy is plastic. We have created a new immortal material. Microplastics will settle on the ocean floor, forming a unique, artificial sedimentary layer. Scientists are already finding a new type of rock, plastiglomerate, a grotesque fusion of melted plastic, sand, and shells. A man-made fossil that will baffle future geologists. It's not just plastic. Our agricultural fertilizers have so overwhelmed the planet's nitrogen cycle, creating vast dead zones in the oceans, that our signature will be written in the very soil of the Earth. And finally, the most unambiguous signal of all, the nuclear scar. The brief period of atmospheric nuclear testing in the 1950s and 60s released rare radioactive isotopes like plutonium-244. These elements do not exist in nature. Their half-life is so long they are an eternal marker. They are man-made. Their presence in the rock would be a definitive, undeniable timestamp of an advanced and perhaps foolish intelligence. A carbon spike, a plastic layer, a nuclear flash. This is the fingerprint of our civilization. It is a signature of global-scale industry and global-scale destruction. So, armed with this knowledge, Adam Frank and Gavan Schmidt turned around and looked back. They looked back into the geological record of the Earth, searching for our fingerprint in a past that was not ours. And they found one. The anomaly is called the PETM, the Paleocene-Eocene thermal maximum. It happened 56 million years ago. The geological record is clear. In a geological instant, perhaps just a few thousand years, the entire planet snapped. Global temperatures skyrocketed by 5 to 8 degrees Celsius. The poles, once covered in ice, became temperate. The deep oceans, starved of oxygen and choked with carbon, became a toxic acidic bath, triggering a massive extinction event for the life forms at the bottom of the food chain. The Earth was sick. The official explanation, the safe story, massive volcanic eruptions. A continent-sized basalt flow, releasing unfathomable amounts of carbon. It's a plausible theory. It explains the what, but it fails to explain the how. It fails to explain the speed. And this is the smoking gun of the Silurian Hypothesis. When scientists plotted the rate of carbon release during the PETM, the curve, the shape of the spike looked terrifyingly familiar. It matched our curve, the industrial curve of the Anthropocene. Volcanoes release carbon, but they release it slowly, over hundreds of thousands or millions of years. To get a spike this fast, this industrial grade, you need something else. You need to be burning entire continents' worth of fuel all at once. To quote the scientists themselves, the PETM event is a discernible analog for our own Anthropocene. The PETM event 56 million years ago released the same amount of carbon at nearly the same speed as our own current man-made industrial civilization. Now, let us be absolutely clear. Frank and Schmidt are not saying that the PETM was a lost civilization of intelligent dinosaurs or Silurians. They are saying something far more terrifying. They are saying that the geological record of a planet-killing industrial civilization and the geological record of a massive natural catastrophic event are perhaps indistinguishable. The evidence is ambiguous. The result is identical. A massive, rapid injection of carbon that destabilizes the entire planetary system leads to mass extinction. Whether it is done by nature or by intelligence makes no difference to the rock. The Silurian Hypothesis is not a discovery. It is a warning. It is a warning that forces us to confront the great filter. We have stared into the great silence of the cosmos and asked, where is everybody? What if the Silurian Hypothesis is the answer? What if any civilization on any planet that reaches a certain stage, the stage of industrialization, inevitably discovers a cheap energy source like fossil fuels? What if they burn it, triggering their own climate collapse every single time without fail? What if burning fossil fuels is the great filter? What if the destiny of all industrial life is to simply become a thin layer of carbon in the rock for the next civilization to find 100 million years later? The 0 point of this mystery is not what happened 56 million years ago. The 0 point is what is happening right now. We are not the first civilization to exist on Earth. We are perhaps just the latest. The first to be smart enough to build this world, but perhaps the last enough to save it. The geological record is a mirror, and the reflection we see in the 56 million year old rock is our own. The real mystery of the Silurian Hypothesis is whether we are just another layer of rock waiting to happen.